everything. Up to around the 1800s, people tried, but no one could find a way to answer that.
Wait, are you telling me people had these thoughts in the 1500s while others were disemboweling heretics?
Yeah,
these two things coexisted.
It's wild to contrast history of science.
Hi, welcome to my channel. This channel I'm telling you that we can go to the stars. We can go colonize planet in this current day. So in this video I cut from other videos like this, like with this tool. Okay, and I comment Star Trek. I don't have anything against this guy, but against what they are saying. I'm not attacking their persons. So maybe someday I could meet with them and drink a coffee or something. They don't have anything bad with them, but nonetheless they are tricking the planet and with false science and things like this. So and they arrest children in schools, and you see, like, we can go here. This is a simple cloud, a star, close. We can reach here with rockets, and the stars are putting clouds like this. So this stuff, I put something in the beginning. This stuff.
We've got with us, not his first time on Star Talk, Grant Sanderson. Grant, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me again. It was fun the first time. Let's see how it goes. It's around 7 million. I remember sometime recently across the...
You know, that's monumental in terms of accomplishment.
No, I'm just saying.
You got 7 million people to follow you for math.
Math, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So if you watch that about mathematics is wrong. It's wrong. It's a child thinking, okay? And you can trick yourself because of this. You see, you have salt here, a big kind of salt like this, and now you can count them. 1 grain of salt, 2 grain, 3, 4. Okay. But now if you want to see them more closely, they have a different pattern, different geometries. And if you see them more closely, they are having like this. If you know, and when it snows, sometimes there is some crystalline structure. More closely from mathematics, maybe you will understand, is like there's a fractal type, like a flower, like a type of flower. You recognize that this is a rose, you see, and this is lily, okay, but you see that this rose is not resembling only in one kind of way with this one. So what is going to be the mistake is to say that this comes from a single geometrical pattern somehow, you see, because they have a similarity, but in a deep manner. You see, you want to treat with mathematics these grains of salt and with numbers and the mathematics is monosubstantial thinking. And you cannot do this, okay? You cannot do this. So watch another part from Neil deGrasse Tyson is invited. I don't have anything against this guy. I'm telling you, these guys. So watch another part, mathematics. So big video is but about against the mathematics. You cannot put mathematics on physics. You have a real object and describes you some phenomena. But the object is a multi-causal and multi-substantial object, and the mathematics is monosubstantial, and you cannot put numbers on geometry also. So you watch.
Everything. Up to around the 1800s, people tried, but no one could find a way to answer that.
Wait, are you telling me people had these thoughts in the 1500s while others were disemboweling heretics?
Yeah,
these two things coexisted.
It's wild to contrast history of science. Are there infinitely many that are 2 apart? Do they ever stop coming spaced out by 2? And you know that primes get a little sparser, like as you get much bigger, there's fewer of them. But you might wonder, do they stop clumping up in that way? Euclid asked this over 2 millennia ago. We still don't know the answer. And it cuts pretty deep, like to the understanding of primes that we have and the lack of understanding to be able to answer questions like this.
Okay, if you watch that, this is the way I made the videos. Light, you have light, okay, light. And the light describes many patterns, many objects. You see all the colors, all the tones, you see. see all the colors, all the tones, the same light, and all the geometry. When you see a square, a dark square, and all the geometries, these flowers, this all the geometry, the same light. You see. So now you if you are treating in monosubstantial way of manner like this, so you have mathematics, but you cannot put it on algebra and geometry. You can see these colors, but you cannot understand them only with mathematics. You see, you have in philosophy, like a quality and a quantity. This quantity is like quantum mechanics, quant of quantity. But quality, you do not treat quality serious. So now I told you about these grains of salt. You can like that you can do a formula to describe the salt. You can see them with the rice, but you cannot make a formula. They're different types. There's a square one, a cube one. So now what is your life? It's like you. Let's say that are made. I'm telling you, we are made this with fire, this salt, with fire and light. They are made. But now you are putting like an energy. Okay, and you pretend that you can describe all geometry with a formula, and you cannot. So you have a square, you have a circle, you have a cube like this. Okay, you have a maybe. Okay, I did not. And you have flowers, and you have like this, and you put all the geometry in one equation. How it will look? All the geometrical forms in one equation. So now light describes the geometry. You see, describes the geometry, but you cannot make a single equation. So now what is the monosubstantial or kind of reductionism type of thinking? You see, you have these grains of salt. I have begun the idea and I break it many times. And they have all the geometry like this. There's triangle one, a pyramidal one, and all the geometry, possible geometry here. But can you make you cannot. So now is this a single substance? Not in a way you are thinking. There's salt, okay. You make some mistakes in a categorical manner, like in a philosophical manner. There's salt, you reduce it to a single substance. But you see, if you want to go deeper from what it is made, let's see, it is made with light. It is made with light. I'm telling you this for granted, like without argument here. You see another videos of mine. It's made with light in fire. Fire is separate matter. It's a proton, how you are saying. It's a separate matter. But now what you are understanding? But these matters are multiple causal, and it's like an infinite field. Light itself is like an infinite field, multi-dimensional. It has at least 4 dimensions. I'm telling you because you cannot understand how it is intersected, and you can see. So you are tricked because you are seeing three-dimensional objects. You see light, you put in your light bulb, and you are tricked like this. But in one part you cannot do the single equation for all the geometries. You have it here. You can look at the microscope, but you go deep, you see that patterns, the beautiful pattern, like flower, like in a grain of sand, and different kinds of crystallizations, and this like this. So now the light is programmed somehow to make salt with fire, but it's programmed at a level you do not understand that it's or in a war-like type manner. So now you dissolve this, you dissolve it with salt, you make an equation, chemistry equation, you observe it interact with something, okay? But now if you want to make an equation for all the geometry, you understand you cannot. And then if you want to understand how the light itself produces the salt, you cannot do an equation because it's a multiple causal, and it is a way of programming light that you do not understand the result. It's a conceptual, categorical manner program, and it makes salt, and the salt, if you put it in a solution of water and then evaporate water, becomes salt again. And so consistency, like a permanent consistent material. And so program type of thing. So watch another part from this, and I explain to you more.
Everything up to around the 1800s, people tried, but no one could find a way to answer that.
Wait, you tell me people had these thoughts in the 1500s while others were disemboweling heretics?
Yeah,
these two things coexisted.
It's wild to contrast history of science. So that's pure math.
Interesting. Okay.
It's just a puzzle.
And you got one from science?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, so one that's I'm not going to be able to state the exact nature of this question, but I can give you like the high level overview, which I know, Neil, you're going to know this, but there's a set of equations that describe fluid flow. They're very famous. They're called the Navier-Stokes equations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're just modeling some fluid and you understand certain aspects of its, pressure and viscosity and things like this, there's something, for example, you could tell the computer to try to run forward a simulation. But the theoretical understanding of these equations is like worryingly thin in some respects. Or, for example, it's not entirely known if it would imply that like you get an infinite concentration of energy at some point. You don't clearly that shouldn't happen. You don't think that would happen in the physical world, but the mathematical model being used in the pure landscape of what are called differential equations, it's got these properties where people aren't sure whether it falls one way or another. And it's actually very, very hard to understand the specific type of differential equation. And so, again, I won't phrase the specific nature of the question that's unsolved, but broadly speaking, it's some basic questions about, do these equations behave in the way that you would hope they would behave? No one actually knows. And this is clearly motivated by modeling physics and modeling the world.
Now you
So now let me tell you this. You observe that the light describes this object, green object. You see, A implies B, like this, implies B. And you see, this is a temporal matter, T1, T2, T1, T1, T2, you see? T2. At T1 you have A, and after something implies B at T2. Okay, in a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But you see, this is, I made it to make like this. I made it to make like this from some implication goes. So now you take geometry, okay, you are trick yourself, but you must recognize that you cannot make a single equation for this, and it is solved. And you cannot, it says, describes all the geometry, possible geometry. And you cannot put in a single equation, only if you are lying. Like, how the equation will look? It will look like a triangle plus a square. How will it look? Plus, you see, like a joke. Like a plus 2 times x times y, like this. Plus, how will it look? You see, like this imbecile manner. A triangle plus a square plus plus 2 minus module of 3 equals how you look at the equation or the formula to describe the entire existence of geometry. How so now you are believing somehow there's a single object can describe all the geometry. If you move an object, let's say this is light, a particle or a single. Light is not a particle and does not have any movement. So you see, move it and you describe all geometry. You see, in this case, I'm like with will I move it, okay? But a light in a mechanical manner will not do this. Because it has some energy to describe something, has some properties in philosophy. One property, two properties, or multiple causal, like, okay? So you see, I'm contradicting the mathematics that is false and you cannot apply it on. And if you do not have patience, you'll be tricked by in this simple manner by this kind of guys, okay? You cannot. You watch another part from these guys and I explain you more, and then I'll pick a big part. I'll show to you a program and compose music, and I show to you beams of light, like big waves like this. The sound is light also. You can put it on. I've told you. You are tricked. So in an easy manner, you have this imbecile sign plus, minus, divide, and multiply, and you have geometry, and you do not know that they are tricking you. You see, you have only one, like this, one. One is an object, but you have two rocks, one rock, two rocks. And now to define them by one, both of them, one is a monosubstantial way of thinking, you see. You must maintain some coherence in a monosubstantial way of thinking to say the 1 plus 1 equals 2. You see, 1 plus 1 equals 2 and you do not add these rocks. You see, you measure something, so it is a child-like, and you cannot do this on light. What is 1 for light? What is 1 for light if the light of 1 it is this way? What is the second one of light if it is the one of light is this? And when you give them both, what will it give to you? Two. I think you can subtract them, you cannot. So this is the video. I'm telling you that you can go to the stars here in this current day. You are tricked. That's why I'm describing you. Like, quantum mechanics is false. You make it stupid like this. Light is not stupid. It is a multiple causal and substantial, and it is programmed in a deeper manner that you understand, in a world-like time manner, and obeys it, does something different. You can see it with your eyes. It makes salt, it makes many things, but it is an infinite field, like exactly the whole geometry, and it produces through infinite procedures on a real type object. Okay, so I will make many arguments against mathematics.
Everything up to around the 1800s, people tried, but no one could find a way to answer that.
Wait, you tell me people had these thoughts in the 1500s while others were disemboweling heretics?
Yeah,
these two things coexisted.
It's wild to contrast history of science.
What it was actually doing.
Right.
It was just a memorizable formula. It was like negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Did I get that right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. I just did that by rote, not because I had any freaking feeling for it.
You just had to know it so many times.
Yeah, I got it from 8th grade. It came in. Okay.
Here's something you should be thankful for. So there exists a formula to solve any cubic equation, but our teachers never made us memorize it. It's much longer. Yeah. And it takes a much longer song to do it. And if you think the quadratic formula is this thing that would cause a rote engagement with math instead of a substantive one, forcing kids to memorize the cubic would be even worse. But like pure mathematicians for a while were curious, okay, hey, how far can we take this? Can we have a formula that solves any equation where the highest power of x is x to the fourth? And you can. It's an even more monstrous formula. If you tried to write it down in full, it would just fill like an entire page, this formula that solves degree 4. And for a long time, the natural question is, okay, can we solve any degree 5 equation? And between the 1500s, when this was kind of initially being explored with the cubic,
we can go here, man. That's what I'm telling you. This is a start. The Doppler shift is made of light. Quantum mechanics is made of light. I'm telling you, these are not going anywhere. It's a fix, and we can go here in this our current day. This is my fight. And we cannot see the universe. We can go to Jupiter planet. We can go to Venus planet. You realize that chemistry is done in a logical implication. A implies B, but you cannot find a single formula to describe the interaction of acids with something or interaction with sugars with something. There are classes, categories of like this. And there's no single formula to combine them. It's like searching a single formula for chemistry. In this matter, you are wrong. So now you can do it for life, because Einstein said it was stupid. That was stupid. You see this, there's light in this paper, you burn it, you find light in it. Does not have any speed. The speed of light is all the equation of Einstein. E equal mc squared, like this. equal mc square like this, but this is the formula for life or energy. If you do not have a single formula in chemistry, you cannot have it. You think like a child, but you treat this planet. You have gold, you have silver, you have copper, but there is no, and the copper interacts with oxides and with something in another manner, and we light in some manner, and so different types. You cannot have a single formula like this. This is an imbecile formula. You cannot describe energy and light with only one formula. It's like describing the geometry with a single formula, or trying to find a single formula for all the interaction in chemistry. It's imbecile manner, okay? It's monosubstantial way of being. More than this, you must understand that you cannot reduce the geometry to numbers. You have geometry like this, it's a square, it's done in this conceptual manner by the physical object in this physical manner, and in conceptual manner you can abstract all the material that is made from. So now you are trick yourself with this one, with this square. You are believing that you can reduce this one to this square. You can reduce the one to a circle like this. You can reduce the same one to a triangle. Look at a triangle, real triangle. With this one, describe them all. Why? You are child. You do not believe. You do not believe what you have done at this hour. You are believing this parallelogram like the idea of vectors. It's false physics. Why do you add movements with a parallelogram like? Why? You see, you do not understand this stuff. Okay, so why with a parallelogram? Why when you have vectors with this geometry? Why not a geometry with a triangle? Why not? But maybe in some cases, but this in some cases. So now this one, you do not have only one. You are believing there's two because of you have a picture with two. But this two means 2, 1 like this. And the infinity is many one like this. So you are trick yourself in many ways. So the infinity is many ones. Your infinity is and then you make a minus plus signs on the 8, and you find out that 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.3 will tend to infinity like this, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and you describe this unity with the infinity. It is infinite, this unit. It is infinite. But now this is a continuum kind of way with this continuum. You see 1, 2, this discrete 1, 2, 1, 1. And you repeat the ideas like a fractal, model fractal, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You see 1. But what is between 1, 1 and 0, 1? 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0. You see, but it's a whole thing, one. Like a unity. So but what you are tricky, why you are force the light to be like this, to be one in an infinite manner? It does not have everything, does not, is this. It is a geometry, you can see it, you see, and you can make zoom like this, you go to infinity, you can inscribe them. If you, I've told you, 2 terabytes, you can inscribe all the music on the entire planet and all the instruments and sounds like this. You can make this zoom, so now you measure this on this length, but it enters in the ears, and it's more like this, it's propagate through the earth in many years, and it's like break up like this soul like this with a okay, and it's not propagating in a normal mechanical classical manner like an object. Quantum mechanics is false. So being a child like you trick this planet, you teach them mathematics is a philosophy. Believe if you know, it's not a science, exact science. There's something in philosophy, it's a formal language. It has some rules, like in chess, this piece moves like this piece moves like this, okay? And you cannot reduce a game with another game. There's so no rules, logical rules. You do not want to admit this because this implies rationality, because it's multi-conceptual, multi-substantial, like, and nothing can do this. No object can do this. If it can do this, it's infinite, like to transform itself, like an infinite transformer, like in multi-substantial, multi-proper properties, like. So now you have this one. This is your infinity, and you are there is some, and this is like fractal type like manner, and you are tricking yourself because you can see world and geometry. You are tricking yourself, but you are tricking other guys. And I'm telling you, I grew tired of this. This is a simple star, a cloud, and we can go here, and you can traverse it with a rocket. Like from here to here. It's big, but you can approach it. It's not emitting flame, and this is my fight. We can go here. Our galaxy is a sphere like this, surrounded by clouds. You cannot see matter. It is not illuminated directly. This could be normal matter, gases, or even liquids. You not see them. It only illuminated here. His piece is capable of. Okay, and we can go here at the stars. This is my fight, and this process I'm telling you, all the science is false. Mathematics itself is imbecilic science, and you trick people with it because you can pay $10 okay, and you can measure this length and some kilogram scale. But if you go deeper than this at the light level, and you realize that this has all the geometry, possible geometries, and you're not proud through some equation, a square equals b square plus square. Okay, oh, goodbye, God bless. This is the way I made the videos. The mathematics is wrong, I'm telling you. It's monosubstantial way of thinking, and you cannot apply it on physics. Physics is described by a real object, and the objects could be infinite. And that could be some infinite fields that escapes this hour, and you must imply some concept too. So watch the next part. I compose music. I show to you some waves on the computer to understand better this stuff. So mathematics is false. I'm telling you. Goodbye. God bless.
Well, maybe they stopped by the 1500s. The Renaissance was kicking in.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe like the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you go to the right part of the world. You know, one person's contemplating cubics. You can definitely find another part of the world where disembowelings happen. Just skipping to the punchline here, and I'll tell a little bit more story behind it. The answer ended up being, it's literally impossible in the appropriate sense. Like if you're trying to write a formula using the usual symbols that we do, plus, minus, times, divide, maybe you allow for roots and things like that. If these are the operations at your disposal, you will literally never be able to write down a formula for degree 5 or higher. And two very young mathematicians were the ones to make the initial steps in this.
It works up to fourth order polynomial, but not fifth.
And then suddenly 5, it stops. Yeah, it stops working.
Wow.
And there's a deep reason why. And the discovery of this was one of the things that gave birth to a huge part of modern math, which is called abstract algebra. Like most people don't know that this exists, that there was this revolution in math in the 19th century that kind of changed the way that we think about math. But the beginnings of it were born out of this question of trying to solve polynomial equations and realizing, hey, maybe it's impossible once you get above a certain point.
What's the reason? Why does the symmetry break between 4 and 5?
Neil, I would love so much to be able to like give you the pithy answer that's like, here's what's true at 4 that's not true at 5. And I have struggled for years to think, is this something I could do in even like a 50-minute video or something that like compellingly describes it to the general public?
I want a full YouTube video on my desk Monday morning of you explaining this.
it would make me and a lot of other people very happy. Okay, I'm going to give an answer that will make no sense, but I promise that there's some sense in which this is true. It's something called Galois theory, and one of the young mathematicians who came up with the arguments that led to explaining this, his name was Évariste Galois. He died in a duel at the age of 20. This is his big headline fact. He
knew he was going to lose that duel. And so the night before the duel, he does a brain dump on the page.
Oh,
this is the story. This is the classic story that we all tell in the lecture halls.
That's insane.
Yeah, okay, wait, let the man explain.
Go ahead.
No. So, well, what you're saying is what everyone hears when they're learning physics and learning math and whatnot.
Oh, that's
like
not
he
true?
wrote down all the. So he like was compiling stuff that he had tried to get published like 3 or 4 times before. So the stuff he had written the stuff down before. He had gotten it in front of very famous mathematicians like Fourier or Cauchy and Poisson. Like they had seen the beginnings of his work before. So it wasn't like the first time he's ever jotting this down was in the like crazed pre-dual state. But it's such a good story to tell it that way, right? It's so good to be like he knew he's going to die, so he's got to get these ideas out in some way. He's got this classic story behind him in terms of the dual and all that. But the math that he was doing, one of the things that it showed is that it's impossible to solve equations degree 5 or higher. It also showed other impossibilities. There's this classic problem about trisecting the angle using a straight edge and compass to take any angle and divide it into 3 pieces. His theories, his like new math, can prove that that's not possible. It's simply too hard to describe right here over a podcast, but it gave birth to a whole field of math that is both central to math and also particle physics these days.
So about mathematics that you cannot apply it on physics. It's a wrong view, even the geometry, to apply it on physics. So I have a program of making music. You see some plugins. Like this is made in Belgium, and you have here few plugins and few instruments like this. So now you see I pick an instrument, organ, let's see, and this is the way it sounds. And this is the wave. You have it stored in a computer, and in this manner this is the wave, and has a representation here, like here you see here, like in this vertical manner. And this is another one, okay? Here. So this is light, is stored light, and light from the battery. I'm telling you, the electron does not exist. The light from the battery passes through like an image store of this, and a copy duplicates it, and so it's somehow alive. It's like a fractal, if you know fractals, mathematics. If it is about mathematics, so you must understand so few things, not to be to tire me with, okay? So with some stuff, so you must understand this. The electron does not exist. This wave is a picture made with light stored in the computer. Computer does not know mathematics and nothing. You pass light that it is in your battery or from your power plant, okay? So but it is makes, you see, it varies. You see, you understand like you understand wrong, like in one. It is one, but it is fluctuating. It is not in a stable manner, unity. It is one, but so this one, like in mathematics, it is one, but it is like a flower, and when you pass electricity to it, it is like alive. It is like alive. You see. Only like if you understand the computer, you are believe somehow that it is a tool, and but nonetheless, the electricity in it is programmed by God, and see, okay. So now you understand this. You cannot add, multiply, or these waves. You have them here. And you have in mathematics that imbecile signs, minus, plus, multiply, and divide it. These waves do not add or multiply. You see, you have one, and you cannot add him. You cannot do this on them. You cannot do this. So what do you have before minus plus in mathematics? So you cannot represent this. But even through geometry, you cannot. I'm going to tell you why. You see them with your eyes. But you cannot. The geometry is wrongly understood and is wrongly done. Okay, so you have some laws, because not the geometry itself describes them, but a real object, that it is light. The light makes geometry. But it is in infinite field somehow, and it is static. It is already infinite in this manner, like in this node stored like this. You see, if you understand, there is an infinite function, like how it vibrates in this manner. So in another node, the second one like this, you see another node, you are believing somehow like you minus 2, 3 minus 1 equals 2, like you go down like this. But these two waves, you see, but these two waves, you can see them with your eyes, but in this, this not is not minus 1, minus 1. So if you do not have numbers, you cannot make them in a proportion manner. So, but if they are infinite, you can see them with your eyes, but they are infinite. So what is to know? It is like you have two infinities like this and like this, or two like letters. A and B, but they are not geometries. They're letters. Like you can write with them, but there's no relation between A and B by minus and plus sign. So you understand wrong that you can put mathematics on physics. The implication is a logical manner. You see, you have notes do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. They are conceptual things like letters, A, B, C, like words. They are words, and you cannot pass from a word into another word, because there's something named like a quality and a quantity. So even though you restore a quality, it is not through a quantitative way of doing it. Okay, so in a quantity way, you in geometry you measure areas and things like this. You see, this zoom is small and can tend to infinity. It can be infinity small, this wave. You pull it out and you multiply it, like put it to see it, you see. But you can put it, you understand how many there are. I showed you how many instruments I have, 100,000, you see. So you can put all these instruments in a gigabyte. You understand that the zoom is made with light, and you can store them small. You understand? So you cannot add A with B. It's going to give you two letters just in a conceptual manner. You understand? So you cannot make mathematics on them. You believe it or not. This implies this one because I choose to imply them. And even though it's going to be a superimposed way, like you say like the crust ad and like interference patterns, they do not interfere like only like in Lego pieces are programmed. So even though there could be a temporal interference, it is because it is programmed. Though interferes with ray in some manner. So I was going to tell you about your science if they are fractals and they are alive. Live fractal somehow, because you can store it, but you see it fluctuates, vibrates, it is not a constant way. It's like a type of flower changes shape. You see, it is stored, and you cannot, because it's infinite somehow, and you want to make from this infinite this to this infinite. Like so I gave you few reasons that you cannot apply mathematics on. So that guys that disembowering people with mathematics, and you make this stuff, but you killed all the planet with this stupidity of yours. You are too proud. You can see with your eyes, but you cannot make mathematics on it. Not in this manner that you are knowing this hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the thing, and there is monosubstantial numbers. And if you have 1 with a substance and 2 with another substance, you already unite them in a monosubstantial way of thinking. You do not understand this. You are proud like so. This implies this one, but with a logical. This is pamphlet. So this is sinusoidal kind of wave, but it tricks you. You do not understand how it looks in a perfect manner. You see, and what it is a quality, is not a wave like see. So that's why you are tricking yourself. It is an implication, like in chemistry you discover A implies B, like in logic, but you discover the A implies B, you discover the law in this manner, logical law, and you cannot make any function on it because A is another substance, B is another substance. Believe it or not, you can store multiple substances in this world. So now making you make some so philosophical mistakes. You say they are light, all of them they are light, and you make some reductionist way of thinking. You cannot reduce the other wave to this wave. You cannot. You can hear them with your ears, you can see them with your eyes, but you cannot do mathematics on them. Believe it or not, you cannot do it. You cannot. And it's another lie that you are saying. You see, this video is full of they cannot do it, and it is impossible. They know themselves that mathematics is crazy somehow, okay? But you make this only mathematics on this wave. You see this fluctuating. Let's say this is, I don't know, do, re note. You make mathematics on this. You see it's fluctuating, but you do not lie. You do not lie. You make some geometry and some formula to describe this wave in a mathematical manner with numbers 1, 2, 3, with plus, minus, multiply, dividing, and then with geometrical form to describe in a temporal manner this manifestation. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You cannot do it because it is another way. It is like exactly like A, B, C, the conceptual manner, and the equation will look in another kind, not in this manner that you are trained in this hour. So you cannot apply mathematics on physics. So you are wrongly understand this stuff. You see? You see, they interfere, but it in a fractalic manner. Like I say fractals because this is the only thing that you know. And I decide, you have them here, but in my will, I decide to combine them somehow. You cannot make permutation, combination, nothing to make. And you do not have a single object that has to pull and push and to go to make these waves. They are already like letters, A, B, C, D, and you must press on them. You must find them. You must combine them. You see, you cannot make them from a single beam of light. You cannot.
if you understand. They're already in a picture manner, like a flower type. The light passes through them. They're already there and you cannot know how big you can make this zoom. If you know, in a gigabyte I have thousands of instruments with all the notes, with all the, you see. You see, so now you see they interfere. You make an interference pattern, and you add this crest, like in the imbecile manner like this. You cannot do even a sinusoidal function to go temporal in mathematics. But you are pro like you see. But what do you like? Why do you like, man? You have it in a computer because somebody make it a picture, and you can manipulate them somehow on some axis. And okay, you have them in this reality, but as multi-substantial. You do not even know that this is another substance, and this another one. Like qualities, like you do not have this in mathematics. So you are proud, like disemboweling people and cutting their heads for you to be proud. You describe this. You know to do this. All your mathematician in the entire planet, you know to do this with lies. So you can do this with lies? With lies, yes, you can do it. Great mathematician with angles and divide the angle with it. You cannot do this. You cannot do it. You only lie that you can do it. You cannot. And you will not do it only if you imply some conceptual and categories like in philosophy. And you do not know this. So you be in childlike manner is monosubstantial, and you have 4 signs: minus, plus. This is not making plus with this one. You cannot add them. You cannot divide them. You cannot. But you are proud. You cannot divide this one by this one. What is it going to give you? You divide this with this one. But if you are stupid and you are pretending, but you are cutting off the heads of the people with this pretense. You have them here, but you see, and you cannot translate one from another, even from a piano one you cannot make them. You cannot do this, but you are only proud, okay? You are only proud to, and you pretend. You see how many there are? You cannot know how small is the zoom. But we have like a few kilobytes stored on a floppy disk. Now you can store 2 terabytes in a stick, like is my finger, like this, and there's 2 terabytes already. So now +1 +2 equals 3. 3 what? 3 what? This Pythagoras tried to make, like before Christ, and stay like that stupid. He tried to put the music on numbers, like, and he thought himself like to be a god, and you stay stupid like this, 2,500 years. And you kiss this of mathematics. You cannot put it on numbers. Believe it or not, you cannot. And in the geometry manner, you can see them with your eyes. You can hear them with your ears, but you cannot put them on numbers. And in current day geometry, you cannot. You cannot. You do not understand because there's a geometry here. This how you are naming it. But what is the technique in geometry to describe it? You can see them with your eyes, but you cannot see geometry. You see conceptual, you see objects, you see in a philosophical manner, you see. So being small children that you are, so we can put all the musics in a formula, what that will be. E equal MC stupid. And you bow another time to the same note, it does another thing. Through the same note, it does another thing, because it's like a flower. You see a flower, but it has a fractal flower, and you do not know how it is made. It's not making itself through mathematics, through a conceptual object that it could be infinite, but it could be infinite in many ways, not in mathematically infinite. Infinite in few ways, in a philosophical manner. So it could be, you can see this, but it is infinite, but in many ways, not in only geometry. Okay, goodbye. About mathematics, it's stupid. Your mathematics is stupid. It's childlike. It's monosubstantial way of thinking, and you cannot apply 1, 2, 3 on geometry. But if you understand this, stop lying this planet. You arrest them in schools, teach them nothing. Nothing came through these sciences of yours. Mathematics, geometry. These were inventions. These were inventions. And these notes are produced by a real object. You can put it in a computer, but it's like a picture. You make a picture of a man and a picture of a woman, and then you're saying they are pulling yourself from a flower. This is your science. There are two pictures of a man and a woman, but they do not came from the single flower, because you have this monosubstantial way of being. You see, I am laughing at you. Okay, goodbye. God bless. So I will speak from my table for you to understand more this.